What's up guys, it's Zach here and welcome to the second episode of Token Tuesdays, where we'll be focusing on VeChain. Is it the Ethereum for enterprises? We're here to find out. Anyway, we're here to provide our unbiased opinion. This is not financial advice or a recommendation to buy, and it's always a good point to note to always do your own research. So what is VeChain? VeChain is basically a blockchain platform similar to Quantum, Ethereum, offering blockchain as a service to enterprises for products and information. Basically, it blends together technologies such as RFID, QR codes, NFC, and IoT in conjunction with the blockchain to provide transparency on the supply chain to end consumers. So if you can think about different industries across the different economies, you have stuff like fashion and luxury goods, F&B, and supply chain. And there's been counterfeiting in these industries or lack of transparency and trackability. So if you can think about it, you can see the statistics, a lot of sales has been lost annually to counterfeit or fake goods. And it's a problem that VeChain is trying to solve. Also, the VeChain blockchain aims to provide transparency to different industries like F&B and to supply chain as well. They want to be known as Blockchain X because it's community driven and it tends to grow along with the crypto and blockchain ecosystem. VeChain basically leverages on the blockchain because of the qualities that the blockchain is able to provide to the supply chain that is not existing in legacy systems. So the blockchain is immutable, it has distributed trust model, it's transparent, and there's real-time synchronization. As a blockchain platform, it requires to have its own consensus algorithm, and VeChain uses one known as proof of authority. I'll be explaining more on this later. Anyway, the token utility for VEN. After the rebranding, VeChain, which was previously known as VEN, has now been rebranded to VET, and it stands for VeChain tokens. Basically, these VeChain tokens generate VTHOR, which I'll be explaining in a while, and they're required to accumulate your masternodes. So VeChain Thor is essentially, if you think about Neo and Gas, it's similar to Gas in the Neo blockchain where you used to pay smart contract transactions and for programming. VeChain is different from these platforms because they are masternodes, and the masternode system is intended to provide stability to the blockchain, and it acts as a way to elevate the status of different holders. So for example, you have regular economic node holders who can either be me and you or people who have adopted the platform late. And however, there are also people who own X nodes. As you can see, there are different requirements for each kind of masternode holders, and X nodes are kind of reserved for people who were early investors of the project or have backed the project from an early stage. For example, if I own 600,000 VET tokens, I'll have a VTHOR X node. And if I were to accumulate 1 million more and I wait for a period of 30 days vesting, I'll be upgraded to a strength node. So why are masternodes so lucrative? Basically, anyone who stakes, either you and me, who does not have a masternode will be entitled to a certain gas generation amount of VTHOR energy, or from now on, I'll just call it VTHOR. However, masternode holders have an additional pool of rewards of this VTHOR. So for example, the Foundation X reward pool is given to holders of the X nodes, or not really given, but more or less they are given the VTHOR generated from these VeChain tokens. And it's more of an exclusive pool, and regular stakers of VeChain tokens are not able to access this VTHOR. Also, it's worth noting that if you have never had an X node before, you will probably not be eligible for an X node status because it was based on a snapshot taken in late March of 2018. Anyway, for the common user, me and you, we want to be able to use a blockchain platform and have good user interface. And one example of this is through the mobile applications that VEN has. So if you think about it, if you had a bottle of wine and you wanted to know whether it was fake or not, you could use your VeChain app, which you can download from the iOS store or on the Android store. And you could just scan the NFC tag or the QR code and you'll be able to verify the authenticity of the bottle of wine. So that's good because, there's been rampant counterfeiting in certain industries. And this would go a long way into protecting the interests of the original supplier, as well as making sure that you are not consuming fake goods. Anyway, what I'm most excited about VeChain are the partnerships. So if you look at the list of partnerships here, this is just a few of the many partnerships that VeChain has. So I'll bring you through some of the most notable ones. The first one is PwC, or PricewaterhouseCoopers. It's a big four accounting firm, and this partnership is actually really useful for VeChain because it's more of a two-way partnership. VeChain is part of the PwC's incubation project, so they will be accelerated and they will be given resources and connections to PwC's clients in order for them to advance their project and technology. So it's very good because PwC also is able to enhance or value add to their auditing services, because it helps them to track the supply chain of different companies that engage PwC as their auditor. DNVGL is also another big company. It's mainly a certifications company, and they are experts in cold chain logistics. They have business divisions like maritime, oil and gas, energy, or business assurance. And basically, they come up with technical standards and certifications which the industry has to comply with. So working with VeChain is a very exciting partnership for VeChain, especially because if they were able to integrate a VeChain technology, such as being able to have a transparent supply chain, and they were able to incorporate this into DNVGL's certifications, then all the clients that are engaging DNVGL would probably have to adopt the VeChain blockchain and use VeChain as a service as well. So it's more of a one-way partnership in this way, but it's actually really good for the VeChain ecosystem because there are a lot of companies under DNVGL. The next one will be BMW and Renault. They're both car companies, very household names. And if you think about it, for BMW's partnership, well, a lot of users actually have a lot of data that they can monetize from just purely driving their cars. And some stuff, even I didn't know. If you think about the GPS location of your car and basically fuel consumption patterns, you're able to monetize this data and sell it to third-party vendors who want basically this kind of vehicle data, because it can help with the streamlining of processes. So actually being able to track this on the blockchain and monetize it is actually very lucrative for individuals like myself. Renault also has a partnership with VeChain, and this is more for providing transparency on the manufacturing process of your car. So for people who are very car savvy or very interested in automobiles, this is really good because they can more or less verify the authenticity of their parts, and it gives them assurance that their car is more or less working properly, and they will know when their car needs to be serviced. Kuehne Nagel is actually another global freight forwarder, and they're experts in supply chain and logistics. So actually, they account for approximately 10% of the world's air and sea freight business, and they want to use VeChain to smartify their shipping parcels. So if you can think of an example, it's like DHL. If you were to get a parcel to your house, you can more or less track it online. But being able to use the blockchain gives you more or less real-time, because of the real-time synchronization of the blockchain, you are able to track your parcel through every point in the supply chain, and you will know when it's being delivered to your house. So it's good for end consumers because this is something that they can see, and they can feel that they're actually accessing the blockchain instead of being delocalized from the whole supply chain of your delivery. However, the partnership that I'm actually most excited about is with Gui An New Era. It's actually more or less a national level partnership because Gui An New Era has been mandated by the Chinese government to act as basically a national data center, and it's actually an incubation area. So if you think about, say, maybe Silicon Valley in USA, Gui An is actually trying to emulate this model. Basically, they are trying to use new technology like blockchain, integrate it with their administrative processes, and they can streamline their processes as well. So if it's successfully adopted in a small area like Gui An, they can actually use this technology and translate it to the whole country. Actually, it's more or less like rolled out to the whole country. So it's very interesting because if VeChain is actually mandated to be the blockchain technology partner of the government, so it helps them to design and streamline government processes. So this is actually a really big partnership if you think about it, because being able to act as a more or less a test environment for VeChain allows them to be able to predict future scaling problems, and eventually, if it gets adopted, being rolled out to the whole of China is obviously a great thing. Anyway, next we'll be focusing on the project development. So it's actually very lengthy. You can pause the video if you want to take a look at it, but I'll just be pointing some stuff out. So actually, VeChain as a company, the VeChain Foundation was founded really early, about sometime in 2016. And actually, they've been before they even ICO, they're working on collaborations and everything. So you can see that they joined Hyperledger in June of 2016, and from there, basically up to the latest point in the chart, we are about halfway through the mainnet swap kind of point in their life cycle. So they were previously an ERC20 token, but now they've transitioned to their own native blockchain. And right now, at this moment, there are token swaps and token splits going on. So you can see the events denoted in yellow are partnerships. The events denoted in blue are technological developments. Red is governance developments, and green are other exchange listings. So as you can see, in June 2018, we're more or less towards the end of the mainnet launch, and although the price hasn't been doing so well, we expect Ven to kind of bounce back in the future because it's a very fundamentally strong project, as you can probably tell from earlier. Anyway, for upcoming developments, we have enterprise solutions. This is nothing new. It's following in the light of Quantum and other blockchain projects. They intend to provide a platform for trust-free collaboration across industries. So like I said, how it's affecting the F&B industry and the fashion industry, maybe they could connect the two. They are focusing on cross-chain solutions and side-chain solutions. So basically your scalability dilemmas. Anyway, now we're focusing on governance. As you can see the chart, you can pause the video to take a look. But like I said earlier, Ven uses a consensus algorithm known as proof of authority. So there are actually 101 authority node holders, and these 101 holders comprise 30% of the voting authority. So Ven kind of has a good balance between decentralized and centralized governance models. You can use you can think of it like a government, a democratic party. You kind of the stakeholders kind of elect the leaders, which then basically form the strategy and the direction of the country. But Ven is kind of different in a way that after you elect these members, after they decide the strategy and the direction of the project, the voting then goes back down again to the stakeholders. So as you can see from the chart at the bottom of the slide, there are different categories of users, and they all have different weightage of voting authority. So next we'll be moving on to the team members. Well, you can like I said, you can pause the video and take a look by yourself, but you can see that it's kind of a team that you want for a project that focuses on the supply chain. So you have the C-suite executives having good kind of experience in fields like auditing and accounting, blockchain services, and even Sunny Lu, who is the CEO, was the former CIO of Louis Vuitton. So he kind of knows, or you expect him to know, the kind of problems that counterfeiting has kind of generated for the industry and what can be done to tackle the problems in these industries. So you have Richard Fu, who is the VP of marketing, who has experience in LVMH. So it's kind of a team that you want for the problem that you're trying to solve. Next, you move on to the advisors. These are kind of big names in the space. If you kind of know Jim Breyer, he's the CEO of Breyer Capital. It's a very big company. They invested into like Facebook, Circle, and everything. So you can check them out. Boshan is also the general partner of Ambushi Capital, which is a really big kind of crypto fund. You might have heard of him. Anyway, it's kind of a stack advisor list, so it's good for the project because it kind of lends their legitimacy and their working expertise. Well, lastly, we come to the competitors. So actually, VeChain, because of the technology that they're trying to introduce to the supply chain, QR codes, NFC, IoT, RFID, it's something that other companies are trying to do as well. So for example, Modem, it also is kind of a supply chain blockchain solution kind of thing, but they don't really have as much partners. So one notable partnership I kind of identified is their partnership with the Swiss Post, so La Posta. They use IoT sensor devices to track temperature-sensitive shipments to clients, so like pharmaceuticals or F&B. But it's the way that a project kind of flies is based on the partnerships that they have and the working relationships. So having only Swiss Post as a reliable client is not very big compared to what VeChain has. Like BMW, Renault. Walton Chain also has their own RFID technology, which is not proprietary or new. It's kind of an old technology as well. And they kind of focus more on supply chain of fashion and luxury goods. So as you can see, VeChain kind of encapsulates the best of both projects. They kind of have a not superior technology, but like more types of technology that they integrate, QR codes, NFC. And also they have a better partnership list. So if you kind of think about comparing these three projects, I would say that VeChain kind of has a stronger client base. And the way that, like I said, the way a project kind of gains mass adoption is through good partnerships and client base. So what do you guys think about VeChain? Will it be the Ethereum for enterprises? Personally, I feel very bullish on the project. It's a very fundamentally strong project. But of course, there are many other projects that try and do the same thing. So how do we kind of judge which project will do well in the future? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like the content, and hit the notification bell. Thanks.